It's funny how people think managing money is all about crunching numbers or memorizing investment strategies. The truth? It's your behavior and personal experiences that hold the reins. Think about it. Someone raised in a household where money was always tight might develop a scarcity mindset, constantly fearing there's never enough. On the flip side, someone who grew up watching their parents invest wisely might naturally lean toward a wealth mindset. It's not about how much you know. It's about how you feel about money. And those feelings, they're often rooted in your past. Take a moment to reflect on your own money beliefs. Were you taught that money is the root of all evil? Or maybe you heard, "We're not rich people, we just get by." These subconscious money blocks can stick with you like gum on a shoe, quietly sabotaging your financial freedom mindset. But here's the kicker. You can reprogram your mind for wealth. It starts with recognizing those old scripts and rewriting them. For instance, instead of thinking, "I'll never be rich," try asking, "What habits do millionaires have that I can adopt?" Here's a practical example. Imagine two people with the same income. One saves diligently, invests, and builds a safety net. The other spends impulsively, chasing the next shiny thing. Over time, their financial paths diverge dramatically. Why? Because their behaviors, shaped by their money mindset, dictate their choices. The good news? You're not stuck with the mindset you were handed. With a little effort, you can shift from a scarcity versus abundance mindset and start making decisions that align with your goals. And speaking of goals, let's talk about the magic of compounding. If there's one secret sauce to building wealth, it's the power of compounding. It's not flashy, it's not overnight, but boy, is it effective. Warren Buffett didn't become one of the richest people on the planet because he made a few lucky stock picks. No, he started investing at age 11 and let compounding work its magic for decades. Think of it like planting a tree. The earlier you plant it, the more time it has to grow into something massive. The same goes for your money, it thrives on time. Here's a real-world comparison to drive it home. Take Warren Buffett and Jim Simons, a legendary hedge fund manager. Simons has achieved higher annual returns than Buffett, but he started investing much later in life. The result? Buffett's net worth dwarfs Simons because he gave compounding more time to do its thing. It's a simple formula. Time plus consistent effort equals exponential growth. And yet, so many people delay investing, thinking they'll start later. But later often turns into never. The beauty of compounding is that it rewards patience. Imagine investing $100 a month starting at age 25, earning a modest 8% annual return. By the time you're 65, you'd have over $300,000. Start at 35 instead, and you'd end up with less than half of that. The difference isn't just the money, it's the mindset. A financial freedom mindset understands that small, consistent actions today lead to massive results tomorrow. But here's the catch. Compounding only works if you stay optimistic about the future. And that brings us to the next big idea, pessimism versus optimism in money. It's strange, isn't it? People are naturally drawn to pessimism when it comes to money. Headlines scream about market crashes, recessions, and financial doom, while the quiet, steady growth of wealth barely gets a whisper. Why? Because bad news is immediate. It slaps you in the face. Good news, like compounding wealth or economic progress, takes time to show up. But here's the thing, a wealth mindset thrives on optimism. It's about seeing the long game even when the short term looks bleak. Think about it, every major financial crisis in history, from the Great Depression to the 2008 crash, was followed by recovery and growth. Yet, during those dark times, people panicked, sold their investments, and locked themselves into a scarcity mindset. The ones who stayed optimistic, who believed in progress, reaped the rewards. It's not about blind faith. It's about understanding that setbacks are temporary, but growth is inevitable. A rich versus poor mindset often boils down to this. Do you see opportunity, or do you see obstacles? Here's a practical takeaway. The next time you're tempted to panic over a market dip, remember that it's just noise in the grand scheme of things. Instead of focusing on the immediate, ask yourself, what's the long-term trend? Optimism doesn't mean ignoring risks. It means balancing them with the belief that progress will prevail. And speaking of risks, let's dive into how luck and risk shape financial success. Success with money isn't just about hard work or talent. It's also about luck and risk. Take Bill Gates, for example. Sure, he's brilliant, but he also had access to one of the few high school computers in the 1970s, giving him a head start most people didn't have. That's luck. On the flip side, there are countless talented people who never got their big break because of circumstances beyond their control. A financial freedom mindset recognizes this balance. It's not all about effort, but it's not all chance either. Understanding luck and risk can make you more humble in your financial decisions. Think about it. If you succeed, it's easy to assume you're a genius. But what if you just happen to be in the right place at the right time? And if you fail, it's tempting to think you're doomed. But maybe you just hit a rough patch. A millionaire habit is to stay grounded, acknowledge the role of luck, but don't let it define you. Instead, focus on what you can control, like your habits and mindset. Here's a practical way to apply this. Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, whether it's your investments, career, or even your goals. Luck and risk are unpredictable, so spreading out your bets increases your chances of success. And when you do hit a win, don't forget to stay humble. It's not just about being rich. It's about building true wealth. Speaking of wealth, let's explore what it really means to be wealthy versus just looking rich. There's a big difference between being rich and being wealthy, though most people confuse the two. Being rich is flashy. It's the cars, the designer clothes, the Instagram-worthy vacations. But true wealth? That's quiet. It's the unspent money sitting in your investments, the financial freedom to walk away from a job you hate, or the ability to sleep peacefully at night knowing you're secure. A wealth mindset focuses on what you keep, not just what you earn. Think about it. Someone earning $500,000 a year but spending every penny on a luxurious lifestyle isn't wealthy. They're just one bad month away from financial disaster. Meanwhile, someone earning a modest income but saving and investing consistently is building true wealth. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and grow. Millionaire habits like budgeting, living below your means, and prioritizing long-term goals over short-term pleasures are what separate the wealthy from the rich. Here's a practical example. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958, despite being one of the richest people in the world. Why? Because he understands that wealth isn't about showing off. It's about having control over your life. True wealth requires discipline, self-control, and a long-term perspective. And speaking of long-term, let's talk about the emotional price of investing and why it's worth paying. Investing isn't free, not in the emotional sense anyway. The price you pay for long-term gains is volatility, uncertainty, and the occasional gut-wrenching market crash. It's like riding a roller coaster. Thrilling at times, terrifying at others, but worth it if you stay on until the end. A financial freedom mindset understands this trade-off. You can't expect the rewards of investing without accepting the emotional costs that come with it. Here's the thing, most people try to avoid this price. They attempt to time the market, jumping in and out based on fear or greed. But studies show that this approach almost always backfires. For example, during the 2008 financial crisis, many panicked and sold their investments at rock-bottom prices, only to miss out on the massive recovery that followed. A wealth mindset embraces the ups and downs, knowing that patience and consistency are the real keys to success. So, how do you handle the emotional toll? One way is to focus on the long term. Instead of obsessing over daily market fluctuations, think about where you want to be in 10, 20, or 30 years. Another strategy is to automate your investments. Set it and forget it. This removes the temptation to react emotionally. Remember, the price of investing is worth paying, but only if you know when to stop chasing more. And that brings us to the next big idea: the hedonic treadmill and knowing enough. The hedonic treadmill is a sneaky little trap. No matter how much money you make, your desires always seem to catch up. You buy a new car and it feels amazing for a while. Then it becomes just another car, and you're already eyeing the next upgrade. This constant chase for more is exhausting, and it's why so many people, even those with high incomes, feel like they're never truly wealthy. A financial freedom mindset isn't about chasing more. It's about knowing when you have enough. Take Bernie Madoff, for example. He had more money than most people could dream of, but it wasn't enough for him. His greed led to one of the biggest financial scandals in history, ruining countless lives, including his own. On the flip side, there are people who live modestly, save diligently, and find immense satisfaction in their financial choices. The difference? They've stepped off the treadmill and embraced the idea of enough. It's not about settling. It's about finding contentment. So, how do you figure out you're enough? Start by defining what truly matters to you. Is it financial security? Freedom to spend time with loved ones? The ability to give back? Once you know your priorities, it's easier to resist the pull of the treadmill. Remember, wealth isn't about having everything. It's about having what you need to live the life you want. And sometimes, the biggest wins come from a few key moments. Let's explore how tail events and outliers shape success. When it comes to wealth, success often hinges on a handful of extraordinary moments, what experts call tail events. These are the outliers, the rare occurrences that drive the majority of outcomes. Think about Amazon. Most of its success can be traced back to a few key bets, like the launch of Prime and AWS. Sure, Jeff Bezos had plenty of failed experiments along the way, but those tail events more than made up for them. A wealth mindset understands that you don't need to win all the time, you just need a few big wins. The same principle applies to investing. A small number of stocks often account for the majority of market gains. For example, companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla have delivered outsized returns for investors over the years. But here's the catch. You can't predict which investments will become those outliers. That's why diversification is so important. By spreading your bets, you increase your chances of catching one of those rare, game-changing opportunities. This idea isn't just about money, it's about life too. Whether it's a career breakthrough, a business idea, or even a chance encounter, tail events can change everything. The key is to stay in the game long enough to experience them. That means taking calculated risks, staying open to opportunities, and not letting fear hold you back. And when those moments come, they often give you something even more valuable than money: control over your time. Let's talk about why time is the ultimate currency. At the end of the day, wealth isn't just about money, it's about time. Think about it. What's the point of having millions in the bank if you're stuck working 80-hour weeks with no time to enjoy it? True financial freedom is the ability to control your time, to spend your days doing what matters most to you. Whether it's traveling, pursuing a passion, or simply relaxing with family, time is the one thing money can't buy back once it's gone. A wealth mindset prioritizes time over material possessions. Here's a practical example. Imagine two people. One earns $500,000 a year but works nonstop, barely seeing their family. The other earns $80,000 but has the freedom to take vacations, attend their kids' soccer games, and enjoy life. Who's wealthier? The answer isn't in the paycheck. It's in the lifestyle. Millionaire habits often include designing a life where money works for you, not the other way around. That's why so many wealthy people focus on passive income streams. They free up time. But here's the catch. If you're constantly chasing more money without valuing your time, you'll never feel fulfilled. The hedonic treadmill will keep you running, and you'll miss out on what really matters. The ultimate goal of reprogramming your mind for wealth isn't just financial freedom. It's life freedom. And now that we've explored these powerful ideas, let's bring it all together. You've just unlocked 5 powerful secrets to mastering your financial mindset, but here's the real question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you let it sit in the back of your mind? Or will you take action and start reprogramming your mind for wealth today? Remember, the difference between those who stay stuck and those who achieve financial freedom isn't luck. It's action. So, what's your next step? Will you challenge your money beliefs, adopt millionaire habits, and embrace an abundance mindset? Think about it. Your future self is counting on you. The decisions you make today, no matter how small, will shape the life you live tomorrow. Are you ready to break free from the scarcity mindset and start building the financial freedom you deserve? It's not just about money. It's about creating a life where you control your time, your choices, and your happiness. The journey starts now, and it starts with you. If you found this valuable, don't stop here. Share this content with your family and friends, because the more people who understand these principles, the more lives we can change together. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another opportunity to grow your wealth mindset. Let's keep together learning, growing, and building the life you've always dreamed.